I'm sipping piss, 2026, still on top of this, drinking piss, I'm the very greatest that has ever lived, sipping piss, pass the bottle twin, I'm a thirsty bitch, sipping piss, yeah I'm sipping piss, yeah I'm sipping piss. 2026, still on top of this, yeah I'm drinking piss. Pass the bottle twin, I'm a thirsty bitch, yeah I'm sipping piss.
Hello, everybody. Where are my co-hosts? Well, I guess they're gone. Ah, there they are. Hello. You scared
I was letting
me
you
for a second.
introduce the show.
Oh,
it's called
hi.
producing a show, Luigi. That's what I was.
We always usually show up all three at the same time. Hello, everybody. I am Luigi Greenberg. This is Edge Files. With me are the other two hosts. I'm not even going to say co-hosts. We all just host the show together. Mr. Trucker Andy and
I'm sipping piss.
and the beautiful, the lovely Miss Cayley. How are you, Miss Cayley?
I am wonderful. I am glad that I had that extra second because, again, I was thirsty, just like Andy.
We all are drinking piss, folks.
If we learned nothing from Bear Grylls' Man vs. Wild, it's that drinking piss is good for you. Does anybody get that
So
reference?
I learned nothing. Yeah.
Not only is it good for you, it's also delicious. Folks, tonight we are going to be talking about a very unique topic. I really don't even know where to start with this. However, I do want to give credit where credit is due. This was brought to my attention by the amazing Dylan from Somewhere, who covered this when it was originally released segments at a time on TikTok in very, very short segments. I believe it was like somewhere like around 2 minutes at a time. But we're going to be covering something that is called the Piss Saga. Yay. I know it's going to sound odd, but let me ask you guys, are y'all familiar with the Piss Saga?
I'm familiar with it based on Dylan and your coverage of it. So yes, I'm very familiar with this.
Okay, but Cayley, you are not familiar with the Piss Saga.
I think I might know what this is about, but I'm not 100% sure. And if it's what I think it's about, I know very little of the details.
Okay.
So I'm excited. I assume that we're not talking about Keanu today. If we are, I'll be excited about that too. We're going to find out.
Would you believe Keanu Thompson has her own episode of Edge Files? It is all about pissing in someone's face.
I actually yes.
Adventures of Kiki Butthole and the Golden Shower.
No. That is not what this is. This is actually a pretty complicated story that's been covered in mainstream news. And I'm actually going to show a sample of it being covered in mainstream news before we get to it. However, let me just give you a quick summary of what it is, and we'll jump right into it. There is a YouTuber named Derek Milton who discovered something really odd going on in Pasadena. And he decided to document his research into this incredibly odd story. Now, I'm being vague because I definitely want the video to give away all the important details.
Right.
But it's it is an odd story, but it didn't go unnoticed. I really don't even know what else I could really add to this before we get to
I'm
it.
excited.
Yeah.
My knowledge of Pasadena is two things. They really love burgers and pie. There's a whole bunch of really great burger places there that I have been to that are amazing. And in addition to that, The Graduate, of course, allegedly The original story was set in Pasadena, and so the very shitty Jennifer Aniston movie that came out that was like a mock-up of this is what really happened in The Graduate. That was also set in Pasadena, and that's my knowledge of Pasadena. So I can't wait to learn about the piss because that sounds more exciting than either of those things.
I'm going to tell you, this is so much cooler than The Graduate and Jennifer Aniston's stupid piss face.
Okay, listen, Jennifer Aniston is the hottest girl alive. You shut your pie hole. We're fighting right now.
I'll admit, Jennifer Aniston might be the only person with the Benjamin Button disease where she like looks like she's getting hotter the older she gets. I will grant her that. Yes.
She used to sell Smart Water and Aveeno, and I buy both of those things to this day in the hopes that I can one day be as hot as that bitch.
Oh, that's why you're so smart,
funny.
right? Smart. Everybody
Smart
knows
water.
Smart Water. Woody from Syracuse, thanks for the 2. I got nothing. Just saying hi to everyone. Hi, Woody.
Hi, Woody.
All right.
Well, let's I guess we'll get into it. But before we get into it, Andy, what you know of the Piss Saga, would you say before we get into it that this is an interesting story?
Oh, without a doubt. Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm glad. I want to make sure that someone who knows what's going to happen here and what's going on gives it a thumbs up for its intrigue. Cayley is hotter than Jennifer Aniston.
You shut your pie hole, Rob K. You know. I love you.
Real quick, before we jump into it, I'm going to start this with it being covered in mainstream news, and then we're going to jump into Derek Milton's video, and we're going to give all of Derek Milton's info for you to look this up yourself, because he has all of this on his website or his YouTube channel. But let's get right into it. Piss Saga.
There's something strange going on in my neighborhood, and it's called Piss Saga.
Piss Saga?
Yes, I have nothing to do with this.
Now, this is Conan O'Brien.
I see that.
The lovable, the family-friendly Conan O'Brien talking about Piss Saga. I just want to put that into perspective for everybody.
I just
One of
want
the greatest Simpsons contributors. Come on.
If not the greatest, he wrote the greatest episode of all time, Marge versus the Monorail. My opinion. Not really a hot take, but still.
put it out on the record.
Okay, let's paint the picture. Your neighborhood, of course, is in Pasadena.
Yeah, and there is an electrical box on the side of the freeway, but it's on a surface street. On top of this electrical box, for the past 2 years, someone has been putting bottles labeled human urine on top of this electrical box.
What?
Okay, so I want to give a shout out to Derek Milton, who is the, I guess you would say the creator, the originator of this
Documentarian?
story. Documentarian, yes. And you can find this on his channel. It is called The Piss Saga. It is a short documentary, and that's what we're going to be watching tonight. Now, Cayley, you've heard the introduction to The Piss Saga. What are your thoughts before we get into the story?
I have so many questions. First of all, when was the short documentary released?
This was released 2 years ago. Let me find out the real date.
And when did the piss bottles start appearing in comparison to when the documentary was released?
I believe it was 2 years before.
Okay.
So-
The
okay.
documentary.
So I'm actually wrong here. Well, no, I guess I am right. Okay, so they began getting posted in short segments on TikTok 2 years ago. This is only 11 months old, where he combined all of them into one video on YouTube, but it was 2 years before that.
Okay. So then my next question is, if I saw bottles of piss, let's just say I saw a bottle that looked yellowish. I'm not thinking too much about it. I'm like, all right, a homeless guy was getting a little excited about things and decided instead of pissing on trees, he decided to piss in a bottle. However, it was labeled human urine.
Yeah. As a trucker, I need to clarify that when you're driving down the road and you don't have time to stop, This is commonly referred to as a thunder jug, where you piss while you're driving and then chuck it out the window. And maybe you do a little trick where you land it on top of this box like a boss. But
Okay, but
these could be thunder
but-
jugs, is all I'm saying.
But when you had a thunder jug, were you writing on it human urine?
Yeah,
Like, you just
I was
knew
writing
what your-
"Drink Me" on it like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, but you just knew which one was your thunder jug. Like, you're not like that's an additional step. So that's what makes it peculiar.
You piss yellow into a red Gatorade bottle, so you don't get confused. You don't piss yellow into a lemon lime Gatorade bottle. That's how you
Smart.
do that.
You don't.
Smart.
Yeah, I was gonna say some people might need the red Gatorade bottle. Congratulations, Andy. Your urine is healthy.
Or so yeah, some people the red Gatorade. If you're pissing red into a red Gatorade bottle, see a doctor. That's it.
All right. There's going to be a distinction here where we can tell that it's not someone just throwing it out of a truck because it's in the same spot on a regular basis. And on this one particular electrical box. So I see we have some super chats. You want to get to the super chats?
Want to hit those before we move on?
Before we
right.
do it? Might as well.
Bacon and Bits coming in hot with 2. Don't tell Hacky fans I'm skipping TSN for this. I won't
What's
tell
up,
you,
Bacon Bits?
Cayley.
You cannot skip TSN right now. It's 24 hours.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's the
has the
Griftathon.
time?
You can see them literally until 4 p.m. tomorrow, TSN. Until 4 p.m. tomorrow, they will be live.
Cayley, why don't you read this one?
Bacon Bits again for $2 Canadian. Go change. You're not allowed to look cool, Andy. What the fuck?
It's hot as fuck here, so
Showing off
rocking
the
this
guns,
sleeveless-
Andy.
Yeah. And Billy Ballsack, $4.99. Luigi, can you verify Tuki's allegation that DJ Electra has had relations with Uncle Jack and you? He said it, so it must be true.
Why not? I can only speak for myself, and I can tell you, no. Definitely didn't happen
Listen.
with me.
As somebody who has banged everybody, I will just verify those allegations.
Dr. Omega Tattoo, I know what you're referring to. I have not received it yet, but I am holding my breath, and it'll be up behind me ASAP. Thank you.
Dr. Omega just did a bunch of stuff also for Nasty Neil. Oh my God, amazing.
Awesome. All right. Are we ready for the piss saga?
Please.
Here we go.
For the past 2 years, an electrical box in my neighborhood had been overrun with bottles of piss. And not your normal run-of-the-mill truck driver bottle of piss, but an assortment of different size bottles, different colors, and sometimes complemented with a hand-drawn note.
So that is that addresses your question about them being labeled, but sometimes they're even labeled with human urine. Just for
It
the
looks like
distinction.
apple
Clarify
juice.
What if it was all like different animal urine, like porcupine urine and the like raccoon?
I believe that
whatever
question. I believe that question's going to get answered. I promise.
I see.
Who collects porcupine urine? That sounds like the most dangerous game.
Yeah. That's how they instead of like jumping you into the Bloods or the Crips, they make you farm porcupine piss. As an option, I'm just saying.
I want to see the process of collecting porcupine piss. Anyway, let's go.
The bottles would usually appear in the morning and then disappear in the late afternoon or evening, with this transaction occurring a few times a week. The word of this piss-infested electrical box spread throughout the neighborhood, even to the point where a third-party vigilante left an aggressive letter threatening the culprit. The notoriety of the situation grew, and so did the strength of the urine.
So it basically just said, "Hey, funny guy." That's how it was addressed. But basically, the substance of the letter was, "Stop leaving your piss here."
I'm sorry. Can you? There was just a screenshot in the video that we're watching 1 second ago. Can you go back 1 second? Is that possible? Okay. What the fuck is in the bottle? What the fuck is in the bottom?
Okay, I can
What
tell you.
Is that
I can tell
fucking
you.
cum? Is that fucking cum?
It is a paper towel. So what someone is doing is someone very experienced put a paper towel in order to avoid splashback.
I hate it.
It's not cum.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Okay, but stay with me because I promise you it's going to get interesting. Well, you know what? Earlier when you said that you think you might know what this is about, is this what you were thinking?
So I believe that I am aware of this story, but again, I know none of the details, so I'm excited to learn them.
Okay, all right. Here we go.
The situation grew, and so did the strength of the urine, making its mark atop the electrical box
Dr. Omega Art says there's probably a little cum.
and cementing itself as its own neighborhood landmark. Who was placing these bottles? Who was the vigilante? Is a different person picking them up? Finally, my curiosity got the best of me. So I purchased the DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail camera with the hopes of answering these questions. But my main
Gotta be
holdup was setting
waterproof.
up the camera. The electrical box is located on a busy street, and if anyone saw me next to it, then they would immediately assume that I was the pisser. And
Okay, so this guy, Derek Milton, I'm going to summarize this very briefly because I think it's pretty self-explanatory. He sees it and he purchases a camera to try to catch the person in the act.
Right.
I
Okay.
would like to
Yeah.
point out he purchases a waterproof camera, which I appreciate in Pasadena where it doesn't rain that much. It's waterproof so that it doesn't get piss splash on it, right?
Correct.
I'm going to guess rain, but sure, piss. Why not?
my reputation would be forever ruined. So I hit up my friend Grant, who's always filming his own videos and skits, and is usually in costume, figuring that he would be a good source for a decoy look.
Ayo. Yeah, I have a construction vest and a helmet you can borrow. I also have a brown lunch bags if you need to have a sack lunch with you. Also, let me know if you need any help putting it up.
The next day, Grant and I arrived at the location in our decoy looks. Me as a standard construction worker, and Grant as a recently divorced, disheveled project manager. The
Hell yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna clarify this a little bit. Is that they are trying to not look like they are planting a camera, because just in case this piss artist sees them and gets scared off. So they are pretending
Piscasso?
to be construction workers. Have you ever seen Picasso, the guy who paints with his penis? I almost bought a painting for my sister. I'll send you a link. He sends you the canvas and the video of him painting it. Anyway,
Kaylee has a
What
whole
a
collection
lucky
of this.
sister.
yeah, my sister hates me sometimes.
The two of us were able to fool the public as we successfully set up the DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail camera. The following morning, I went to go check the electrical box and couldn't believe my eyes. Piss. I honestly thought this would take a week or so, but we were able to capture the drop-off on the first night, but inherently knew that the pickup was the most intriguing part of the story. So after consulting with Grant, we agreed to wait it out one more night. Unfortunately, the piss bottles were still there the following morning. No pickup. It had been too long and there was a high chance that the batteries to my DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail camera were dead. Also, since Grant and I had been posting about this in real time, there was a great deal of pressure building from people online. I couldn't take it anymore. Making sure the coast was clear, I quickly collected the DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail camera, went home to review the clips. Finally, the mystery was about to be solved.
All right.
I love this. Like, what if this was a hub for, not to keep going back to truck driving, but that occasionally, if you get in an accident or like annually, you have to get drug tested to make sure that you could safely operate a Class A vehicle. And you go to those work fit places where they administer the drug test, and they do that via urine. So you have to piss in a cup, and then they package it up, and DHL comes in, spirits it off to God knows where. But I like how they were assuming that maybe this was a hub, a pickup hub for piss test samples, specimens, if you will.
It is a logical theory. It's a totally, and they even delve into the possibility that might be the case. We'll get there, but sorry, I apologize. Go ahead.
I just want to say that, Luigi, I was upset at you earlier for insulting Jennifer Aniston, the most beautiful woman on the face of the planet. I'm even more upset about the fact that you are about to dox the fact that I was stealing and drinking all of this piss. So fuck you for ambushing me like this. This isn't Hughesy's show. We're doing Edge Files. I'm very upset right now.
We know about your piss. We know about
God damn
your
it.
love of piss.
I thought that I had saved myself from any sort of embarrassment.
It's not doxing if everybody knows it.
Oh, that's why.
Damn it.
That's why you were having so many technical issues at the top of the show. You were trying to
it's true.
shut
I was
this.
trying to save
shut
face.
You didn't want to get exposed as the piss bandit.
There's just piss on everything in Cayley's house. So here we go. This is the footage from the camera that they set up to try to catch the piss bandit. It only caught his hand.
Thing from the Addams Family.
Fuck you.
Yes, her hand. Her hand.
Thing from the Addams Family is the bandit. We cracked it. Mystery solved.
So now they have to regroup. They have tried and it failed because the piss bandit did not show his or her face.
It was baffling. I hadn't even thought about the drop-off coming from beyond the wall, which also happened to be the side of a highway. I had so many questions, and so did everyone following the saga. Grant and I both felt that this was just the tip of the iceberg and that we're onto something much bigger. After capturing the mysterious video footage of the initial piss drop-off, Grant and I decided to take the weekend to process what we had just witnessed. It was baffling to think that someone was out there at night, in the bushes with latex gloves, strategically placing piss bottles on an electrical box. First thing Monday morning, I drove to the site to check if the bottles were gone. They weren't. In fact, they had doubled. Things were...
They've
It's a lot
doubled.
of fucking piss.
That's a
They're
lot
breeding.
of piss. Yes, they're breeding.
Must be rabbit piss.
All these piss bottles are fucking each other, creating new piss bottles.
So, okay, I have a logistical question then, Andy. When you did your piss jugs as a trucker, in one piss, how much of a Gatorade bottle are you filling? I realize that there's a big variant in that, but like I need to understand: is this piss coming from multiple people? Is this like I want to understand in this time frame how much piss is this?
Go. You answer her question.
Well, I was more of a coffee cup guy. No, but I would say like one of those traditional hourglass shaped Gatorade bottles is more than enough for one piss, maybe even two.
Hourglass.
You know what I'm talking
I know
about?
what he's talking about. Yeah.
Not the sport bottle with the sport cap, the long
normal
tubular
Gatorade
one,
bottle.
the one that's got the shapely figures.
So it's like
the sexy bottle.
All right.
like 3/4 fill.
Like a 32 ounce. 30. Usually, I'll say this
I don't know.
about.
I've never pissed
I'm
in
telling
a
you.
vessel before.
I'm
So I don't know.
telling
Right.
you when you consume, let's say you consume a 32 ounce Gatorade, the odds that you're gonna piss out 32 ounces are very low. So whatever you ingest, some of it goes into your body, and whatever comes out the other end is going to be less than 32 ounces. So you don't have danger of overflowing a bottle. Is that your question?
No, my question is, so like, is that like, if it's 32 ounces, are you pissing out 16 ounces? Like, what's the ratio?
Okay. I'm not
in
a
a
fucking
piss?
biologist over here.
All right, fine. I don't care.
I once filled half of a Gatorade bottle while driving, and you have to use the Gatorade bottles because they have the wider mouths. One time I tried to use a regular bottle and pissed all over myself.
Yeah. You watch that the scene in Dumb and Dumber when Harlan Williams drinks the beer bottle. The only way to do that is you have to like jam your dick hole like into the tip of the
And
beer
you
bottle.
can't break,
You
you
don't
can't
wanna
break the
do
seal.
that.
You can't.
Yeah.
The problem is you can't break the seal. Once you break the seal, it's over.
yeah.
Nobody told me that there was going to be boasting. All right, wait. So, I had another question. It's totally fucking gone already.
Yeah, that will turn into a panic situation. Like once you crack that, then it's all over. You're just pissing all over the car or truck, whatever. Labyrinth Mystics coming in over $5. Was putting YouTube on the new house TV just as Piss Saga came on, and now everyone is giving me looks. Piss bottles accumulate anywhere they appear. Yeah, okay. Thanks for the 5, Labyrinth Mystic.
All right, here we go.
We're escalating quickly, so Grant decided to order a second Digit Garden 4K waterproof trail camera, and we devised a plan to capture what was occurring beyond the wall. For this intricate of a setup, we need a bigger crew of decoy construction workers. Fortunately, Grant had a construction worker friend who agreed to help out and lend us gear while also giving us a few pointers on how we could better sell the look. So I hit up my friend Katz, who's usually down on anything. Hey Katz, I'm working on a project and need some extra bodies. Mainly need you to come and be a construction worker.
Okay. I've never done construction before, but fuck it, I'll try anything once. Hey, wait, is this for the piss thing?
With both Katz and Grant's real construction friend on board, it was time to head to the location and suit up. We were a squad of construction workers ready to take on whatever construction worker things that were in our path. And in this case, setting up 2 DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail cameras around an electrical box stacked with piss bottles. We played our parts perfectly. I did all the work while everyone else told me how to do it. Grant, the recently divorced disheveled project manager, loomed over, micromanaging us to a T. With cameras set up, our operation was an all-in-all success. Now it was time to wait. The next morning, I returned to the box only to see that there's a new batch of piss bottles. I knew because this was fewer than before, and one bottle had a particular darker tint. I immediately hit up Grant with
A darker tint. That looks pretty vile.
Yeah. I've never seen piss that color. That's like, so there's super dehydrated. That's the dark yellow, right? And then extra hydrated, almost clear. Brownish, that's creepy. That's worse than reddish.
I don't know, but whatever.
the good intel, but was only met with some disastrous news on his end. And out of nowhere, Grant hit me with the classic, "I'm going to Norway today" excuse.
I'm going to Norway today.
I had to retrieve these DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail cameras, but also knew it would be too risky to collect on my own. I needed a project manager, and I knew just the guy.
So, just to kind of recap here, he is only including some of these things to let the people know that his crew is kind of changing faces. So he's hired one person who's going away for a little while, so he's having to ask other people, and that's who these new faces are. It's really not important to the story, but just so you can identify the people that are with him.
Hey, Katz, can you be my project manager?
Easy.
Also, try to match Grant's decoy outfit, disheveled.
You got it. Plus, I'm actually divorced.
Katz and I met at the location, again in our decoy looks. Me as a normal construction worker, and Katz as an actually recently divorced disheveled project manager. And we were able to retrieve both DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail cameras without any problems.
Now, he keeps mentioning the cameras, and that's going to be an issue that comes into play later. There's a reason that he keeps mentioning these cameras.
Obviously.
Yes.
We had 2 issues with the DigiGarden 4K waterproof trail cameras. The first one I set up failed to record anything. Not really sure why, but it's something I'll be voicing my frustrations with the DigiGarden customer service at a future date. The other issue being that the second camera shifted positions upon setup and framed out the electrical box. But beyond the wall, we did get a major hit. Footage of the culprit in the act, revealing a man in his mid-30s to 40s wearing latex gloves and a flashlight, pouring liquids from one bottle to another, then methodically placing the piss on the electrical box.
So he's mixing the piss there on the scene and then putting them on the electrical box. And we now have footage of this person doing it. Now, we don't know why, but we have footage of him doing it, and we've now captured the piss artist.
The dark one is vile. I'll never drink club soda again. That's disgusting looking. Sorry, club soda fans.
So the timestamp is almost identical to the previous footage. This clearly seemed premeditated and very intentional. I thought getting a visual of the culprit would give me some closure, but in reality, it only doubled my curiosity. Is this some abstract performance artist, or some family man's late night fetish? For every question I answer, I seemingly raise 2 more. What are his motives? Who is doing the pickups? And is that actually urine? The electrical box was stacked with piss. A couple days had passed since we captured the footage of the culprit in the act, so I took this time to monitor and track the culprit's movements, day in and day out, the comings and goings of the piss bottles. But as the days passed, the bottles remained on the electrical box. More bottles would appear overnight, some with more labels than usual, and he even went to the extent of placing decals on the box.
So let me ask
a lot.
Let me ask you guys this. What could possibly be the reason to do something like this? And I guess one possibility that he even mentioned was fetish. So let me just jump to that. Could there be a sexual component to this?
I've watched a lot of porn,
I don't
so yes.
Yeah.
But
It could be a sexual component to anything.
That is true. I guess that's a stupid question to ask. Yeah.
So Andy brought up a good point, which again is that people need urine samples for drug tests. However, 1, the mixing it makes no sense for that, and 2, the paper towels in the bottom of them make no sense for that. And I'm pretty sure that piss expires for drug tests, so the pickup would need to be very, very shortly after the drop-off. So at this point, I feel like it's just somebody really likes drinking fucking piss, like not for a sexual reason. They're just like thirsty.
Well, they're not even drinking it; they're leaving it. There's no
That's
one
the
is
weird
drinking
thing.
this.
Yeah,
so
it's
this more is like a desecration or a fuck you to somebody, like whoever has to possibly work within this electrical box. Maybe is this guy that's leaving the bottles knows that the guy that stole his girlfriend works here, and it's some kind of slap in the face. Maybe, I don't know. That's the only. Go ahead.
I was going to say I have one other theory. So my best friend, somebody who used to live above her, it was like this little old lady, and her toilet broke, and she was too embarrassed to say that her toilet broke, and so she just started shitting in a bucket and throwing it out the window, and obviously that was a worse solution. She's basically Granny. I don't know. This was years and years ago, but Granny has figured this whole theory out. My only
How many
other
trail
theory,
cams did you set up to figure this
I
out?
set up 0. I did not want to have anything to do
Did
with it.
you say
follow
that
the smell?
that she was shitting in a bucket and throwing it out a window?
Yes. It was gross.
My
Don't act like you've never heard of somebody shitting in a cooler and living in a shed. It's very common in the Dabbleverse.
So my only other theory now at this point is my toilet is broken for some reason. As a man, I can't piss outside. I'm pissing in these bottles, and I just need somewhere to discard them, and I can reach over my fence, and this electrical box happens.
It could be a tent city on the other side of that wall, and the homeless population of Pasadena is just using this as a drop zone for their thunder jugs.
All the homeless are in San Francisco, not in Pasadena. Come on.
They're everywhere. Thanks, Trump's economy. Labyrinth Mystic, $2. Above the label, Haley, wide mouth bottle essential. Correct. You've got to have the wide mouth Gatorade bottle, or else you're just an amateur. Rank amateur driving and multitasker. And Labyrinth Mystic is back for another 2. Larry King, but what happened to the piss bottles? That's a good question. So is people just cleaning this up, and it's somebody's being, because it could be a fuck you to the person that is the sanitation committee that has to pick these up. It's like, well, I'm going to make you pick up something disgusting because I'm disgruntled, or somebody that lives in like the housing. What is it? It's not H.
Section 8. Section 8 housing.
No. Like where you have like rules of the place that you live. It's
HOA.
Like,
an HOA.
HOA.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Somebody's fucking with their HOA. That's a possibility. Another possibility is that Donna G is amazing. Thanks for the $3.
Donna G.
Hello to my favorite people. Have a great show.
Not after this episode. All right.
Give me more ocean spray.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donna G. All right. Here we go.
Was he taunting me? Was this piss cat and mouse? But one thing I did notice, no one was picking them up. I returned to the footage from the Digit Garden 4K waterproof trail camera that had shifted in the tree, framing out the electrical box, hoping that I would discover some clue regarding the pickup that day. Although this was quite the task because it recorded every single person, cyclist, and car that passed by. The only thing I was able to capture was a man in a construction worker type vest observing and taking photos of the bottles. He then moves out of frame but looks to be collecting them. Was this a city cleanup crew guy? Or a sketchy piss recipient who was wearing a city cleanup crew guy decoy outfit? Meanwhile, online, my Piss Saga intro video was racking up views, even to the point where people from the neighborhood would reach out and send their own piss bottle stories and photos. One person sent me an origin story about how the piss bottle started off on a different electrical box at a nearby park, and then gradually moved east, eventually claiming the current box. Another unsettling anecdote was about a time when the culprit tied a bottle to a string and hung it from a tree branch. People were consumed with...
It gets so much worse about saying the camera names. I actually edited them out, but there's a reason for it. I promise.
Right.
It all comes together. But I started editing them out as he begins to change cameras.
piss and had started developing their own theories as to what was occurring beyond the wall.
So his original TikTok videos got millions of views. I think they showed there that his first one got 6.1 million views. So this became like a real topic on the internet where people started giving out all their theories as to what this could be. So here are a couple of the theories. Here's one. It's possible they are transporting fentanyl in those bottles.
A drug drop disguised as human urine? Clean urine for people who needed to pass a drug test?
Maybe he sells
or
clean
just
pee
a
for
person
drug
that wanted
tests.
to showcase their massive...
Definitely not just piss. Probably some jizz in there too.
Just abandoning something on the side of the road is not a great business model. If you're selling fentanyl disguised as piss, like that's not a great way to collect on your drug deal.
Well,
Also,
but it is if you're labeling it human piss, because then normal people won't pick it up.
I bet there's no jizz in this container. It only says piss.
yeah. Also, people that need clean piss, an unreliable source of clean piss. I could think of 100 better ways to collect clean piss than just picking it up off the side of the road.
Yeah. So those are the theories, and let's see what happens.
collection of piss. Then someone sent me a message that caught my interest. A user claimed that they owned a crime scene bio and hazardous waste company and had been doing cleanups at the piss box for the past 2 years. Within their company, employees referred to the culprit as the Pee Bandit and had inside knowledge that checked out with my footage of the city's cleanup crew guy. They even let me know when they were going to pick up next, which checked out. This negated a lot of theories regarding the pickup, but I still had one question that had been eating at me this entire time, and there was really only one way I could answer it. We were going to have to collect a sample. We knew the piss...
So this is going to answer your questions, Cayley, about the types of piss and are they all coming from one person? And
how much cum? How much cum?
So they are going to make an effort to get some of the piss and then to test it.
Piss Bandit was extremely calculated in that he would be alerted if one of his bottles was missing. We were playing chess and needed to offer a gambit to gain positional advantage. By this I, of course, mean we implement a decoy piss bottle. Grant returned that Saturday and I had him meet me directly from the airport. We then got straight to work. Using a mixture of unsweetened pure leaf green tea and unsweetened pure leaf regular tea, we were able to concoct the perfect human urine decoy. Next, we had to replicate the Piss Bandit's hand-drawn calling card, and that was usually left on the bottle's inner lid. Fortunately, Grant was known to have terrible handwriting and was able to perfectly match the signage. Then, we headed to the location in our decoy outfits. Me as a normal construction worker, and Grant as a recently divorced, disheveled project manager who just returned from a meaningless trip to Norway. It was our most daring mission yet. We had a plan that we would follow precisely. I would use a specimen grabber thing to pick up the real bottle of piss, while Grant quickly replaced it with a decoy. Then he would take our sample and secure it in our own custom-made specimen box. We had our sample. Now it was time to undergo the test. Grant and...
Wait, I'm sorry.
Go on. I assume there'd be questions.
I understand making a decoy bottle in order to get the piss, right? You don't want to make anything suspicious. Why did they have to purchase 2 iced teas, just piss in the fucking bottle?
I guess they could have, but documenting this, they probably couldn't show themselves creating that bottle. I assume.
I like how they're kind of using even the bandit and them as well. One of them looked like apple cider, and there was like, well, that could just be apple cider, and somebody wrote urine on it. Or my favorite one was the Old English, because when I was broke, I used to drink a lot of Old English, and it's basically the same as drinking piss. Well, if the bottle was full of pennies, it's like penny flavored piss. Don't drink Old English unless you're.
I can't wait to play Edward 40 Hands later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mega Tattoo.
Oh,
thanks for the 5. Next time I'm in Rochester, can we start our own piss conspiracy? I like to leave poems in my piss bottles. HBU. I mean, I write them in the snow. In piss. That's how I write poetry with piss.
A man after my own heart.
It's like Clue, but with piss. I don't know. I guess it is a good question. I just assumed they wanted to try to keep it as clean as possible in the event that one of the other people had to touch it, but I guess I really don't know.
Who gives a fuck?
I would. I don't want to touch your piss. So I guess it was trying to save the other people. But yeah, now they're going to try to collect one of these and see what they could find out from the piss. I've said piss way too many times. It seems weird.
and I had successfully collected one of the piss bottles from the electrical box. Now it was time for the tests. Fortunately for me, Grant volunteered to do all the heavy lifting, mainly because he suffered from a condition called anosmia, a disorder that causes its victim, Grant in this case, to lose all sense of smell, which was perfect because he wouldn't be affected by whatever fumes were emitted during the urinalysis. We had 2 primary objectives we needed to achieve. Our first was to see if the fluid in the bottle was actually piss and not some mysterious liquid decoyed as piss. So I ordered an Amazon.com instant result 10-panel home urinalysis test kit that gives you an accurate rating in just 60 seconds. Our second objective was to see if there were any drugs present in the liquid, especially since the majority of the piss heads online thought this entire scenario was a drug drop-off operation.
All right, we following along there?
The piss heads.
So all these people have said it's obviously dropping off some sort of, I'm not really sure what the theory is there, to be honest. Why would there be drugs in the piss, and why would someone need to want to pick it up? It would make more sense if it was clean piss for people, but whatever. They're going to test.
So I ordered an Amazon.com easy at-home 5-panel drug testing kit that gives you results in just 5 minutes. We got straight to work. Grant was in the zone. In his natural state, he flawlessly completed the urinalysis without any problems. We got our results in 60 seconds, although I couldn't interpret them because I wasn't a medical professional. So I sent a photo of our test strip and its legend to my friend Niall, who is a professional ICU nurse. While we waited for Niall to decipher the urinalysis, we went ahead and executed the drug test. Again, Grant performed the task masterfully. We had our results in exactly 5 minutes, and we were able to conclude that whatever liquid was in that bottle did not contain any drugs. It was drug-free.
There's no drugs in the piss. Yeah. I really don't know what
Let me just try that.
I really don't know what conclusion that brings us to, but we just know.
It's not drug-fueled mania. It's just mental illness.
Maybe. Or fetish. Yeah.
Fetish. What is the fetish? You go.
I
you're
don't
like,
know.
oh man, I can't believe that I left that piss bottle on that box. I can't.
I've seen Stranger.
I can't finish unless I leave a piss bottle in public. That's the least horny fetish I've ever heard.
For you and me, maybe.
So time consuming.
I once saw a guy. Never mind. Never mind.
The worst part about that, Luigi, is I know exactly how you were about to finish that sentence. I know exactly how you were about to finish that
what
does that say about me?
I want to have a guessing game where everyone writes down what they thought I was going to end that sentence with.
I don't want to play that game right now.
Looks to be in good health.
It's definitely urine.
Definitely.
Clean, healthy piss. We were baffled. A majority of our theories had been shot down. Nothing made sense. We were dealing with a guy who just leaves healthy piss on an electrical box in Pasadena. Something wasn't adding up. We needed more footage of the culprit. Grant and I positioned the Tacticamera VLX Pro cellular trail camera beyond the wall, on a tripod, tucked away in the bushes. This was our eye in the sky. And just like that, we had footage of the culprit as he lurked in the brush at 4 a.m, waiting for cars to pass so he could...
So now it's like, that's the weirdest part about it. It's 4 a.m. Like, you're really making an effort to leave this piss here to make a statement, but we don't know what that statement is.
And clearly not beating off. Let's just eliminate the fetish. I mean, I guess you go home. A lot of serial killers go home and think about what they did, and that's when they beat off. But I just
can
don't
never
believe
eliminate
this is
beating
sexually motivated in any way. You're getting up at 4 a.m, lurking in the dark, going to all this trouble. It doesn't seem like it's leading to getting off to me.
It definitely seems like
opinion.
work. Yeah.
I also don't think that most piss people, other than like Keanu and maybe kind of Scarlett, I don't think that they're bragging about it. So it makes sense to be sneaking around to me, actually. I don't think that that's bizarre.
Okay.
That's fair. It's not... Being pissed on is not something you brag about.
This isn't a big fucking joke, all right?
You
Everybody
heard it here, folks.
There's an even-handed discussion.
Yeah. I wish I could explain this, but honestly, I am kind of leaning towards weird fetish because nothing else makes sense. But I don't know. And that's only like a half-hearted commitment to saying it's a fetish.
What about infamy and notoriety and internet fame and clout chasing?
But he's not giving his name, or we don't know who this is. So
it could be like Banksy though. Banksy, you don't know who Banksy is.
I will point out And I don't think that this is the case, which is why I did not put forward this theory earlier. But they said that the piss person for a minute had like a little vest, which is exactly what the documentarians also had.
Yeah, maybe this is all
That's
staged
the fame angle. Yeah.
to sell trail cameras.
I can. All right. You're starting to sway me a little bit, but let's see what else happens.
Place his piss bottles. I was focused, tracking him, studying him, learning his ways. He was coordinated and consistent. My inside person would usually alert me when the bottles were being collected by the hazardous waste team. And then that same evening, he would strike, leaving an abundance of bottles for the morning commuters to see. One thing that did stand out to me was his clothes. An extremely tight shirt, ironic hiking shoes, and baggy cargo pants with an unnecessary utility knife in pocket. These three characteristics combined had to mean only one thing. He was an artist. I had a relatively elevated...
Did you hear that? Artist.
Yeah.
All right.
Banksy.
So, yeah, falling right in line with what you had to say. However, there are still a few unanswered questions. Let's see what happens.
understanding of artists since I had spent a good amount of time working in the art department for photo and video shoots. And I knew that there was only one way to deal with a self-proclaimed artist. We were going to have to give him an interview. I met up with Grant at his warehouse first thing in the morning. Grant had a good amount of junk that we were able to scrounge up and use. Our plan was to create a large interview questionnaire pad that we could leave beyond the wall for the culprit to fill out and not risk revealing his artist persona. Feeling confident after flawlessly completing the urinalysis test, Grant wanted to head up the design of the interview pad. He was starting to lean into his project manager role, but unfortunately, his left-handedness got the best of him, and I had to take over. We knew that the questionnaire would be jarring at first glance, so we wanted to butter up the culprit with a nice introductory message, conveying that we were fans of his work as well as telling him something every artist wants to hear. We had to compare him to the goats of his industry. We then...
Did you see that? You see the name on there? It said Banksy. It said you are like Banksy, and they're asking him to answer questions on this piece of poster board when they know that he's going to be there dropping off the piss.
We should come up with a better name. Like, this is obviously not Banksy. Banksy's too clever. Van Gogh #1. That could be this guy.
Pisky?
Jacks off. Jacks off. Polka. I don't know. Work with me, people.
What? That took me a second. Sorry.
That was a reach. I peaked with Van Gogh #1. Let's move on.
I'll think about it.
asked 5 questions regarding his process, while attaching a Sharpie to
His process. Put dick in hole. His process.
Drink a lot of Gatorade.
delay so he could answer. We also gifted him a headlamp so he could continue on with his art in the darkness. The next day, we arrived at the location. Me as a normal construction worker, and Grant as a recently divorced, disheveled project manager who just absolutely crushed a urinalysis test. At this point, being construction workers and project managers was second nature to us. We were quick and covert as I scaled the wall and placed the interview pad for only our piss artist to see. Everything was set. Now, all we had to do was wait.
All right. So we're coming up on like the halfway point of this video. And I'm going to ask you, as a piss enthusiast, Cayley.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Do you think that this artist wants to be known? Maybe not necessarily under his real name, but do you think he wants to be known as an artist?
So usually I would say no. However, the labeling, the human urine labels, makes it seem a little bit more like he really wants everybody to know, first of all, what he's doing, and second of all, that a person is behind it. That doesn't even make sense. Yeah, I kind of do think that he wants to be known.
See, that's what I thought too. What do you think, Andy? Oh, you know. Yeah, I shouldn't ask you.
I don't want to
So,
reveal
all right.
that.
Okay. So let me say a little bit more about that then. We just said, I think when it comes to fetishism, most people who are talking about piss are very quiet about it. I think that most people who are getting pissed on are not like, I get pissed on. It's fucking awesome.
I've seen a few.
We've seen a few in the Dabbleverse. We've seen a few people in the Dabbleverse say things like that. But I think overall it is a very quiet community. And so to be pissing in a bottle and to making that very visible to the public on a clearly well-driven road, it means that somebody wants it to either be seen, picked up, smelled, or otherwise.
Smelled?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Old stale piss is it's worse than smelling shit. It's so disgusting.
So Andy
Don't ask.
also eats poop, is what I just found out.
Cayley knows her piss, and Andy eats poop. I'm the only normal one here.
Don't put that bag on me.
With our interview pad in place and the Tacticam Reveal X Pro cellular trail camera hidden in the brush, Grant and I were ready for our grand conclusion and to finally discover why this artist was stockpiling piss bottles on the electrical box. That night felt like a piss-induced Christmas Eve. It was impossible to sleep knowing that I'd likely wake up in the morning with an answer to a question that had been haunting me and my neighborhood for the past several years. But instead of presents, I woke up to 0 notifications from my Tacticam Reveal X Pro cellular trail camera. This was very unusual, especially since its field of view was centered on a high-traffic zone with constant cars passing by. So I drove to the location and suited up for a quick check-in, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that the bottles were back. The artist had struck, but when I scaled the wall for a closer look, I was met with extreme disappointment. The interview pad had been untouched. Nothing. And even worse, the piss culprit stole my Tacticam Reveal X Pro cellular trail camera.
The piss artist
Motherfucker.
saw the camera and stole it. However, there's something interesting that happens.
I had been blindsided. Our interview pad must have been too jarring, leading him to check his surroundings and discover our prying eye. This was a huge pain, not just because he was now aware of us, but because I had spent countless hours researching, setting up, and troubleshooting trail cameras, and now mine was gone. Fortunately, the Tacticam Reveal X Pro cellular trail camera had built-in GPS, and if you were ever to turn it on, it would automatically ping my phone with a check-in photo as well as precise latitude and longitude coordinates. Though when I took a closer look at the fresh batch, I did notice something unusual. A message written on one of the bottles.
Can you see what that says?
Oh, Jesus fucking
It
Christ.
says, I have AIDS. It says HIV positive since 2018. Yeah.
This guy's hilarious. On top of
The guy's
everything
funny.
else.
The guy's funny.
I think this was a mistake, leaving the pad and the questions and revealing that that he's there and like where he's lurking when he's doing this. It scares him off. You would think.
Well,
But
this
what
was
else do you do?
Yeah.
What else do you do at this point? Like, at this point, they're not
Well,
getting
you could-
any information.
You could ambush him in person and with a video camera and actually get his identity. Doesn't that seem like the most productive way to get answers? And
If I got ambushed,
maybe you don't
if I
want
was
this
pissing,
to end, but I guess that would shut the whole thing down, and they're not trying to do that. But Cayley, if you were pissing in a bottle,
if I
what would
was
you...
pissing in bottles and then people ambushed me, I would not reveal something like I have AIDS, HIV positive. So maybe this is a better reveal. Who the fuck knows?
I just say it and throw it in their face.
Join Cayley's Patreon to get free shipments of piss.
HIV positive piss.
That's extra. That's a $10 tier.
Sadly, if the three of us were all selling our piss online, I think there's one of us that would probably outsell us by miles.
Andy.
Men are
definitely
gross. Men are gross and silly and just gross. I'll say gross again. But yes, I think that they really measured their options, and they thought that cornering him was probably a bad idea at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, it'd probably scare anybody. They thought this was probably the lesser of the two options, but they don't give up. There's more.
This was very concerning, but didn't necessarily provide any motive as to why he was doing this. As the days passed, there were no updates and no additional bottles. The usual piss-infested electrical box had now transformed into a normal-infested electrical box. A once iconic staple in the neighborhood was just now another gray eyesore on the side of the road.
Put a 1 in the chat if you would buy Cayley's pee.
No.
That last
Not
piece
doing that.
was
Suck
my
a
entry
fucking
responsible
dick.
for scaring off a budding
Noah,
street
you're
artist.
my hero.
I was starting to understand the sentiment of how you never really appreciate true art until it's gone. Meanwhile, online, the piss heads were frothing for more content, demanding updates to our investigation.
Frothing.
Pressure was building, and I
Frothing.
wanted to deliver, but it would be impossible to do if the piss bandit was gone. Then one evening, my phone was alerted. My stolen Tacticam Reveal X Pro cellular trail camera sent a check-in photo of an image of a couple vehicles parked alongside a road with what appeared to be the ocean in the background. This was puzzling because the ocean is extremely far from where the electrical box is located, 20 miles to be exact, which is a 2.5-hour commute.
That got me. 20 miles is a 2.5 hour commute in Pasadena. That's
California's
terrible. But yes. So the piss bandit turned on the camera at some point.
Sadly, the culprit didn't have the device turned on long enough for it to send me GPS coordinates. A couple days later, I was alerted again. This
We got 1-1.
time with a beautiful scenic photo of a grandiose cliff overlooking the ocean. Thankfully, I was sent the exact GPS.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let's move on here. Put a 3 in the chat
fuck all of you.
if you'd buy Cayley's farts, because I know that's a thing.
Yeah, we did talk about that. We haven't done that. I should go on Griftathon later and remind the boys about Zen and Cayley farts in a jar.
Gay, show them where it comes from, the source. Bottle one up and just say, this is going to go out to a lucky telethon contributor.
Yeah. Like when they show the Rocky Mountains, when they talk about Coors Light, you got to show where the...
I've got a couple of 3s. Got a couple of 3s already.
I hate everybody.
A 4.
He wants it all. Rocky Mountain? that took me a second. Sorry.
Noah wants the paper towel in the bottle, not the piss. Number 4.
Here I am just giving my farts away for free.
Coordinates, which I immediately plugged into Google Maps. Sunset Cliffs, San Diego, California. A popular, affluent coastal community known for its hiking trails, surf spots, and sunset views.
And
This was far, 126 miles to be exact, which is also a 2.5 hour commute. The culprit had either taken a vacation down south, sparking up a newfound love for scenic photography, or he was toying with us. My gut instinct was that he had moved on, replacing his abstract art with something a bit more traditional. But that following Tuesday morning, I was proven wrong. He had struck, breaking his nearly 2-week-long dormancy. But again, our interview pad remained answerless. He was a devoted artist who worked late nights and went to great lengths to conceal his identity.
Devoted artist?
Of course, he didn't want to answer a bunch of questions about his process. We had to keep it simple, so we replaced the interview pad with an interview dry erase board, this time with only one question, which he again ignored while hitting the electrical box with a...
If you can't see it, the one question is, why are you doing this?
record-setting motherlode drop, 1 gallon of piss.
A gallon of piss.
And that's why I
really,
needed 2
really
weeks.
rough looking piss.
It's kind of reddish. Like there's a problem there.
Yeah, it's HIV, dude.
We don't know that it's all coming from this guy. Okay, so let me just say this, that when we watched this the first time, Gummy Chainsaw, co-host of Skeptical Robot, actually came up with a pretty interesting theory that maybe the piss artist works at a retirement home where he has access to various types of piss from people. And I had to admit, that was actually kind of an interesting theory. Piss.
The artist was back and more prolific than ever, and our unsuccessful attempts at an interview left Grant and I feeling cornered and out of moves. We feared that the worst was coming to fruition, an inevitable checkmate. The culprit had hit the electrical box with a 1-gallon jug of piss. He was on the offensive, toying with us, even leaving a demonic smiley face as a taunt. But there was one play that lingered in the back of our heads, a Hail Mary of sorts, something many of the pissheads online had been suggesting throughout this entire saga, a stakeout. This was a very risky ploy, and something that couldn't be taken lightly. We were dealing with an individual who places 1-gallon jugs of urine on an electrical box at 4 a.m. Who knows what else he was capable of. So Grant and I started to brainstorm some ways to move forward with a full-on live stakeout.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, I was ruled out of every scenario, mainly because being a black man in Pasadena, idling in the car after sundown would have the cops called in a matter of minutes. So it all fell on Grant's shoulders now, which he was very...
What were you going to say?
I have one more theory. So
Okay.
your Gummy Chainsaw's theory sparked something in my head. Not bedpans, but is it possible that it's somebody who has like one of the piss bags? I forget what those are called. You know, like you have a health issue and then you have like a little bag. And then
Colostomy bag.
Yeah. And then he's emptying it into bottles so as to not get it all over the city because Pasadena is beautiful, obviously, and nobody would want to throw their piss somewhere. And this is just his nighttime walk spot. And he's feeling...
I think that you might be onto something, but I also think Calverton's is onto something with this bedpan theory. Maybe this guy works at a retirement home, like an assisted living community, and he works the C shift. So that, like, it's very easy for him to do this on his way home if he's working overnights. And he's become embittered in his career. And if he has to be the person that deals with old people piss day in and day out, he's going to take it out on the general public and collect it and inflict it on the community. What about that as a theory?
I think it's a great theory. Why?
Because he's like, if I have to put up with this, everyone has to put up with it.
That is an odd. That is just. I keep feeling. There's so many times. And Cayley, I don't know. You being a cinephile, I don't know if you ever feel this way, but I always watch a movie, and I shouldn't say always. There's many times where I've watched a movie, and I've walked away thinking, there was a message there, but I missed it. I don't know if you ever feel that way, but I do frequently. Like, I think to myself, I feel like they're trying to tell me something, but I might not know what the message is.
I feel like every time that happens in a movie, I'm getting up to take a piss. So no,
Yeah,
I don't understand
yeah.
at all. Yeah.
But
It's
this
all
is
connected.
this is one of those moments where I'm just like, I feel like there's a message here. I'm just not getting it.
I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
Confident about moving forward with the task, but I had my doubts. Grant was one of those guys who just, he's just one of those guys. But he was trying to prove himself. He was persistent, and I could tell that he really wanted to be the one to catch the piss culprit and interview him. Even though he was adamant about doing the stakeout, I didn't feel comfortable putting Grant in a situation where his life could be at risk. I needed to see for myself that he had the ability to tackle this alone. So I set up a staged piss electrical box scenario. We were able to achieve an almost exact replica of the location using a bunch of junk from Grant's warehouse, as well as various faux piss bottles made from our green tea mixture. I then had my friend Ian, who was a trained actor, meet up and play the role of the piss culprit.
Okay, so just to recap here, this is going back to what we talked about, confronting the person in real life or in person. They're trying to act out various scenarios with a trained actor as to how this might unfold should they ambush this guy to ask him questions. Here we go.
I still love faux piss bottles.
Yeah. Like Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. I actually like it.
I'll see myself out.
In order to embody the character and his motivations, I had Ian study the plethora of footage that we captured with the Reveal X Pro cellular trail camera. Then we did a couple of run-throughs as him as the piss culprit, strategically placing the piss bottles on our prop electrical box. Ian was a pro and immediately had me sold on him playing the part for our dry run operations. Now, it was Grant's turn to show me that he had what it took to confront the culprit. Our first scenario was if Grant wore a ghillie suit to blend into the adjacent...
Andy, if we were a team trying to confront this guy, would you wear a ghillie suit?
Fuck yes. I've always wanted to, so this would be the perfect opportunity, yes.
One of you has to be in a ghillie suit, and the other one has to be in like a faux wall. So
Yeah.
With like the bricks painted on your body so you blend in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I would be the box. I would just I'd pop out of the electrical box when I heard a bottle land on top of it. And then I'd probably be covered in urine, but it would be worth it to catch the bandit.
I would get AIDS urine thrown in my face. Let's see how this transpires.
bushes beyond the wall. Then he'd reveal himself.
Hey.
But this was quickly shot down because it would be too startling for the culprit. Our second scenario focused
So the first scenario is that he's stabbed by the piss bandit.
on creating a large enough space between Grant and the culprit. So we had him approach from the street side. But even with that distance, Grant was still met with reactive hostility.
That, I also believe, is a perfectly logical conclusion in which he just simply sprays the piss at the person approaching him.
Yeah, again, I've
Biological
seen
warfare.
that porn also.
Yes, I have to.
Grant wasn't necessarily having a good time. But fortunately, Ian was able to break character and talk some sense into him in regards to how important these simulations were to our investigation. After a quick breather, Grant was back on board. We approached our third scenario differently. and had Grant implement an aggressive tactic, hoping to scare the culprit into submission.
Yo, motherfucker.
But unfortunately, this backfired, and Grant was met with extreme physical and mental punishment. After witnessing this train wreck, I had zero faith in Grant and knew there would...
That's my favorite part of this whole thing. He's making him drink the piss.
be no way that
these
he
guys
could successfully...
Go on.
These guys that put this together are hilarious and brilliant.
They are hilarious.
On top of the guy that's doing it being completely stealthy, and the fact that they haven't just caught up with him accidentally at this point is bizarre. Like, I feel like they're actively not engaging with them, because all you got to do is hang out long enough, and you would think that eventually he would show up, but that's not part of this. So I feel like they don't want to catch him.
To some extent, I can understand that, but I think they're just having fun, and I think they know that this is going to be popular if they have some filler while they're trying to find this guy.
I mean, if Stuttering John leaves the Dabbleverse, then there's no more piss bottles on the electrical box. So.
The piss verse.
Pull off a stakeout. We were back to the drawing board. I figured the only way we could confront the culprit in real time was with an actual security camera that we could speak through. So I did a bit of research online and settled with the Reolink Go PT Plus, a state-of-the-art piece of machinery with two-way audio and a 360-degree pan-tilt access. The only thing we needed to be worried about was the culprit stealing the camera again. We needed a vantage point from above. So I reached out to my mom.
So if you guys caught that, they've now gotten a camera that can actually allow them to speak through it and to hear his responses, so that they can catch him on camera and speak to him through microphones on the camera.
Motorcycle friend Robin, who also moonlights as a subpar carpenter, hoping he would have some tools, or at least a ladder, which he did. The next day, Robin and I headed to the worksite as a couple construction workers who owned a ladder. From there, Robin was able to ascend above the wall and secure the Reolink Go PT Plus to a bundle of tree branches using a sturdy zip tie securing system. Our new eye in the sky was set. Now all we needed was the piss culprit to strike. A week had passed with no action. I knew he'd strike again, but it was just a matter of when, and if Grant and I would be awake to interview him, especially since his previous hits had been at 4 a.m. Then one evening, while visiting my folks' place and listening to my dad's long-winded explanation for his love for CBS, my phone was alerted. It was the Reolink Go PT Plus. Finally, we had him in our crosshairs, the piss culprit.
I'm sorry. Can you imagine that you're like a parent and your kid comes over and you guys are like playing board games and like eating fucking meatloaf, and then your kid's like, I gotta go. My fucking piss cam just went off. Like, are you proud?
Listen, Dad, I've been trying to catch this guy with piss. You know what? Let me just explain it all later. Hold on.
We've been joking about the project manager being divorced. None of these guys are fucking married, right? Like,
No. He's telling you, I'm kind of a street level Batman to a certain degree. I'm catching criminals, if you will.
So one thing to notice is the shirt. The shirt says volunteer.
Yeah, he's volunteering at an old folks' home. I'm telling you.
We can't really make much of it, but that is an interesting shirt to wear. Or maybe it's just his shirt that he knows is going to get covered in piss and
volunteering my urine to the community.
Ugh. My dad would be like, "This isn't the craziest story I've heard. Go check your camera."
In the act of placing a fresh batch of bottles, he looked different this time, now sporting a balaclava and a shirt that read volunteer on the back.
So now he's actually guarding his identity.
Yeah, you have
It was apparent that he knew we were onto him, and now went to great measures to conceal his identity while still showcasing his knack for community service. This was the first time witnessing his actions live, and now I had the capabilities of communicating with him. I zeroed in and took my shot.
You really can't understand it. You really can't understand it. The audio's not good, but he says, "What's up, dude?" I'd like to interview you. That sounded like so like there was a real like violent crime going on. No.
Yeah. I just assume that he's sticking it down his pants and giving him from the source the exclusive interview that he wants.
Just pissing right into the lens.
Interview
Grant and I were
dick.
down 2 cameras and our funds were depleted. But one thing did catch my attention. Online, there was a large group of piss deniers who thought this entire
Piss deniers.
saga was staged.
Flat
that I was
pissers.
Yes. People think this was all an elaborate hoax and that he's staged all of this. Flat pissers.
a covert agent working for GTCM, or Global Trail Camera Market, who had designed an intricate ploy in order to sell more trail cameras. This was a wild theory and not sure how or why it came to be, but it got me thinking. Hi, Janine. I'm working on a documentary about mysterious piss artists and have been using your camera.
So this is why the cameras have been such an issue throughout this whole thing, is that he's been reaching out to people to get free cameras, and so he has to plug them.
In an attempt to communicate with him, although he keeps stealing them and we ran out of money. Would love to collaborate with you and your company.
Hi, Derek. Thanks for reaching out and glad to meet you. I think we would create something amazing together. I will arrange the shipment and keep you updated.
I was now officially sponsored by Reolink and was shipped a trio of premium top-tier 4G security cameras. The Reolink Go PT Ultra, the Reolink Go Ranger PT, and the Atlas PT Ultra. All powerhouses in the field of surveillance. This wasn't my first foray into sponsorship. About 18 years ago, I was a sponsored skateboarder by a board company called Foundation. Though my time with them was cut short because the team manager didn't think I was doing enough to promote their brand. So I was relieved of my duties and I never saw another Foundation package ever again. With great sponsorship comes great responsibilities. I had to learn from my past mistakes and there was no way I was going to let this happen again. Grant and I's camera arsenal had been replenished. We were on an all-time high as newly sponsored Reolink team members. But that all came to a halt when I received some concerning news. Someone had installed a metal pyramid atop the electrical box as a piss bottle deterrent.
Oh,
It
no.
was extremely
A piss bottle deterrent, as he calls it.
well crafted and looked to be bolted in. Was this the city? Or a neighborhood vigilante with a metalsmith background? A third party had just inserted themselves into our game of piss chess, and I had no idea what the artist's next move would be. Meanwhile, concern was growing online and there seemed to be a division between people's views of the piss pyramid. Some were in favor of it, applauding its simple yet effective design, believing that this was the end of the saga, while others thought it was blasphemous and took the side of the artist, rooting him on with the confidence that he'd prevail. Amongst this discourse, it caught a level of attention none of us previously fathomed. Noah Goldberg, a reporter for the LA Times, wanted to do an article on the piss artist and our operation of trying to get to the meaning behind it all. He insisted on joining us on our next excursion down to the electrical box.
So now they've actually got a reporter picking up this story. How insane is that?
I like this. That needs to be addressed. Like that somebody's decided to put the way that they put nails on beams so that pigeons don't land on them. They've figured out a way to put an end to this.
But not only that, there's like the homeless people deterrents. Like they do that same thing. Like with benches, they'll like put nails on them. They'll make them the same thing that they just did to this electrical box. I've never taken a stance on that. I can see arguments either way. Now I'm fucking against it. Fuck your piss bottle deterrent.
Yeah.
And Junior's against security cameras because it can lead to you catching your girlfriend picking her nose constantly and ruining your relationship. So
bullshit.
Be careful what you decide to record.
Put a 3 in the chat
Luigi.
if you want the farts.
Which I thought was a great idea, especially because it gave me an opportunity to use my new Reolink security cameras and publicly promote the brand, fulfilling my sponsorship duties to Janine and the team at Reolink. Then, about a day before our walkthrough, the artist struck. He managed to disassemble the metal pyramid and lay a new batch of bottles.
He disassembled the pyramid.
Damn the man, fight the empire. Fuck yeah, dude.
How, like, you had to have spent some real time, like, with a crowbar or something.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely added effort. Again, it seemingly you would have an opportunity to see this guy in action at some point.
Or
doing that.
Or your piss is very caustic and you just did one of these.
And it just ate through the metal.
Your AIDS piss is melting steel beams like 9/11 jet fuel.
You never know.
now labeled piss instead of his usual human urine. This was a first and a declaration that he had seen.
So it is now labeled piss and not human urine. Maybe it's a different guy. You never know.
Or, so it could be a different guy who has been following the piss saga. It's a copycat. Or
Right.
the original human urine guy is now leaning into it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Seen my piss saga videos online. The artist had triumphed over the piss pyramid, like an unstoppable force. I was in awe of this move and knew this meant escalation. Not between us, but between him and whoever installed the contraption. We were caught in the middle of a pissing contest and decided that this was bigger than us and that we needed to take a step back and just surveil. The next day, Grant and I met the LA Times at the location. They conducted a quick interview where we laid out everything that had occurred up until this point. Now it was time to head to the piss box. But first, I made sure that they were equipped with decoy construction worker outfits as a safeguard for their reputation. I also felt that this was the perfect time to promote my new trio of Real-Link security cameras, which Grant and I had created complex camouflage systems for each unit as a way for them to blend perfectly into the environment and not alert the artist. I promoted the cameras perfectly and made sure to address each by its full model name, as well as going into great detail about their specs and capabilities. My sponsorship duties were fulfilled.
So there you go. There's the explanation, folks. I'm sorry, but yes, it's just part of the story. He had to name all of the cameras with each of their specific specifications in order to fulfill a contractual obligation for sponsorship.
It's a funny running gag, I think. But
yeah, I cut out a few.
I think that the real sponsor has got to be the yellow vest people.
Do you think maybe the piss artist is actually funding this whole thing?
I postulated that earlier.
Yeah. Why did the vests have to be yellow? They could have been orange vests, but they went with yellow.
That's true.
You can't believe the official story. Yeah,
big piss.
We won't have you wearing orange vests.
All right, not too much longer to go.
Janine would be proud.
Proud of you, Derek.
We then made our way to the piss box, where the new batch remained, glistening. Remnants of the metal pyramid lay on the ground, like a defeated pawn. Noah and his staff photographer were fascinated by the glowing yellow bottles, making sure to document everything they could. We scaled the wall, proceeding to go beyond and give them a visual layout of the artist's studio and the vantage point of his canvas, all while setting up our new Real-Link trash cameras. Our goal was to monitor the moves of both the artist and the new third-party challenger. But then, the challenger executed their next move by implementing the installment of a heavy-duty piss pyramid 2.0. The metalsmiths looked professional, and I believe it was now safe to say that this was the work of the city. They were swift in acting promptly, a characteristic the government usually lacks, which meant this was serious. The city had successfully knobbed the spot, and I was curious as to how the artist would respond. For days, Grant and I waited. We had courtside seats to this historical contest between two rivaling giants. Our fingers were crossed, hoping we'd get to witness the next move in real time. But instead of piss, we got piss heads. People who had been following the saga online visited the box. From documenting the pyramid to searching for cameras, it was beginning to be evidently clear that the spot was blown. Also blown was Grant and I's cover.
Strange one here. A mystery man is making his mark on the streets of Pasadena, and it's not exactly something that you'd want to see or smell, for that matter.
Okay, here we go.
Was that joke necessary?
Two local filmmakers are getting plenty of attention these days, tracking down the so-called Pea Bandit.
Grant Yansura and his buddy Derek Milton are about 2 years into documenting the mysterious bottles.
The bottles keep...
So it took 2 years to make that documentary, and now they're actually totally blowing up the spot. They've now made it, it's now infamous. You can't lay your piss down there anymore without being scrutinized and having an audience. So it's ruined.
Turning up on a specific Pasadena water and power electrical box.
Son dejadas arriba de una caja del departamento de...
Tested it and found out in fact that it was clean, healthy, human urine.
We had no idea that the LA Times story about the piss electrical box would take off in the way that it did.
Some of the people that see it now are like, well, it's his artistic expression.
That's the piss artist who's clearly doing some kind of installation.
It's Banksy with urine.
You're like Banksy,
So they're trying to reverse psychology?
They tried, but he wouldn't answer.
No, of course not, because he could see right through that. He's playing fucking 5D chess.
Concerns spread worldwide, and much like our own investigation, everyone wanted to know the meaning behind it all. People send us a plethora of piss-related content, from memes, to videos, to handcrafted artwork, even to the point of getting recognized in public.
Everywhere, and see there, people honk at you,
they say you're the pee guys, and it's not really what we want it to be.
Our entire
I thought that was Nick Ricada for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with being known as the P guys.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as Piss. Check out his #1 single, Yellow Rain. Moving on.
Wow.
Mission of dressing up as decoy
I'm
construct-
actually surprised. I would like to point out, I am extremely surprised that, again, there are this many people who care about piss this much that aren't just watching porn. Like, I can't believe that people are making artwork about piss that, again, is not porno. It's impressive.
There's room for piss, folks.
I had no idea.
construction workers was in order to not be associated with piss, but it had backfired. We were now synonymous with piss. And it was then that it dawned on me. We had been so consumed with our own intrigue and wanting to know why, to the point of developing an unhealthy obsession with trail and security cameras, that we lost our focus. The artist was aware of our intention to communicate, yet still chose not to. And our own infatuation as to why may have led to the obstruction of him creating more. Fortunately, everywhere you look, a canvas exists. Whether it controls traffic signals, sources electricity to nearby homes, or houses a heavily damaged piss bottle deterrent, the city is full of them. And if you ever find yourself in Pasadena and happen to stumble upon the original artist's electrical box, remember to look above and beyond the wall.
And there you have it, folks. The Piss Saga. Now,
it's amazing.
I mean, you got to admit that's a pretty interesting story, regardless of whether or not you like it or whether or not you think it's cruel or gross or whatever. Cruel, that's not the word I meant. Just disgusting, crass.
The person that should have been here the whole time finally shows up to weigh in on this. Piss wife. Obviously,
piss
you want to
wife.
hear from. It's piss jug season, everybody. It's like Beetlejuice or Candyman. You say piss enough, and piss wife shows up.
Piss wife, piss wife, piss wife. But will you admit, Cayley, that's a pretty interesting story?
It's an incredibly interesting story. And in fact, again, the next time that I in Pasadena, I am not going to Pie and Burger. I'm going to go see if I can drink piss off of this fucking electrical box. That's insane.
Yeah.
So are
like,
piss bottles still appearing is my next question.
I believe they've stopped.
They installed
from
the pyramid.
AIDS.
Yeah. It finally caught up with them. I like your idea of like visiting there, like when you go to Pasadena, the way people go to the convenience store from Clerks when they're in New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's like
I want to do like
box.
I want to do like like the Leaning Tower of Pisa picture where people are like, "Look, I'm holding it. I'm holding the electrical box." Yeah, like.
Yeah. You're drinking lemonade off of it. Yeah.
Oh God. The Leaning Tower of Piss.
Lemonade, right?
Yeah. YouTube's terms of service. Good one, Luigi. Even though I had already heard it, I loved hearing about it all over again. Those guys that put that together are incredible. Well done.
Yeah, I was hoping to introduce it to a new audience. Hopefully, we will get a few stragglers come in and watch it. And we covered this, yes, on Skeptical Robot back in December. But I do want to make sure that I do plug again Dylan from Somewhere's channel, because he covered this as it was coming in real time. Like he would cover 2 minutes, and then like I think 2 weeks would go by before the next 2 minutes were updated. And I was tuning into his show just to hear the updates about the Piss Saga. So anyway,
I have to know what's going on.
Yes.
That was terrific. Cayley, do you want to do your plugs at this time?
I sure do, but also
Who's
I really have
yelling
to
in your
piss.
house?
So
that is my dog. That is my dog. My dog's a lunatic.
Also has to piss. Yeah, I sure do. Luigi, again, thank you so much for telling us this story. That was a really, really, really fun one, and I again am more excited about pee than I ever have been. So thank you. People can find me on Once Over with Cayley on YouTube, Cayley, and on Patreon. And I'm doing some stuff sometimes. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And Bacon Bits coming in with another $2. Wow, what a confusing boner! I'm so angry with you three.
I told Bacon Bits before the show. I was like, don't look anything up. Just watch the show. I think you're going to enjoy it. Hopefully, I didn't disappoint you.
You can find plenty of videos online to satiate your curiosity.
Your piss curiosity.
Yeah, that's why that theory doesn't make any sense, because there's a way better resource for that than just hanging out on the side of the road. But hey, somebody's yum doesn't have to be I can yuck someone's yum if I want.
Don't
Luigi,
kink shame.
Plug. Yeah.
Please check out my channel, Luigi Greenberg, here on YouTube. Pop Electrico on X. I do a show on Fridays called Skeptical Robot. And we might have a big announcement coming up soon. I do a show with Gummy Chainsaw and Mr. Pat Dixon, Friday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern. And you know what? I'm gonna wait for the announcement. You gotta watch the show.
Announcement?
Yay.
Yeah. Don't announce it here. Announce it. Give everybody a reason to tune into Skeptical Robot. It's a great show.
Exactly. Oh, and actually, check me out in the next few hours. I will be appearing with Gummy Chainsaw on the Shuli Network Telethon. We have some stuff we're going to be presenting. It's going to be funny.
I'm going to pop on there too.
Hey, and,
wait, Luigi.
No invite. Thanks, guys. Fuck you. Anyway, go ahead.
Luigi, what date and time are you doing the big announcement so that everybody can make sure to check it out?
I'm going to actually leave it vague because I don't know.
Never mind.
I don't know when the big announcement goes into effect yet. So
everybody has to watch always then.
Going to leave it vague.
Mm-hmm. And I'll do my plug for my. I have Romo for the Shuli Marathon. I'm a relief of missing out, but I'll also plug my Monday night poker game next week. A week from today, I'm alternating, so I'm doing Edge Files on one Monday, then the poker game, all in on the Dabbleverse, alternating Mondays. So check that out. And then we just did All Apologies Proper live at 9 a.m. We did Ethan Ralph and Kevin and Ice Dancer. All these people are melting down over their insane relationships. So that was a lot of fun, and that's available on our Patreon. And I'm doing a 50% off the $5 membership for the whole month of June. So there's plenty to see over at bit.ly/stay sorry, or just subscribe to my channel for free and help out the show. Thank you. And I guess we're going to wrap it up. So until the next compelling episode of Edge Files,
keep edging.
You did it.